Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We are excited. This is our second webinar into the new year. And of course, it's on a very, very fun and interesting topic that has been requested here. So welcome. And if we can scoot on over to the next slide. All right. So today's topic is the Website Builder 101, excuse me. And we have our regular special pros here on the call with us. Steve, our product manager, he's going to take it from here.
Thanks, Daniela. I don't know about pro, but certainly have some great information to share with everybody. I'm really excited. Website Builder is a tool that we released and added a lot of fun functionality and useful tools and features. And today is about bringing all that together so that you have a really comprehensive idea of this tool and how to use it for your organization and for your events. So the housekeeping, as always, we're using a lot of platforms these days. So just as a reminder, in your control panel at the upper left-hand corner, you can use the arrow button to minimize or maximize. If you have a question, go ahead and throw that in the question pane that's in your control panel. We are going to try to get to every question. And if for some reason we don't, and we try to leave time at the end, we will follow up with you. So don't worry if we are not able to address it during the presentation. And the recorded version of this is going to be sent to everybody within 24 to 48 hours. And we'll include some really helpful links to things that we're talking about today, as well as the slides. So don't feel like you need to screenshot yourself like crazy, unless that's the way you do things and you like to organize it and you need the info now. I get that. But you don't have to. We're going to send you those slides. And we'll also post it on GiveSignup.blog. So that's a great place to pretty much learn about anything that we're offering in terms of our features and tools. And that's also where we post every new feature so you can get the latest. We just had one this morning. So make sure if you're not already subscribed to it, and you can do that by just going to GiveSignup.blog. And then always want to offer this, and guys, we need more of this. We've got some time. We want to schedule workshops with you. So, sit yourself down, put your head down and work on your new website after you learn all this great stuff today, and then reach out to info@givesignup.org and let's talk through it. We are happy to give feedback. If you're stuck somewhere, we'll get you past that. You just need an extra pair of eyes. We're here to help you do that. And then for the nonprofit organizations that are joining us today, we want to make sure if you don't already or haven't joined the Nonprofit Circle, just scan the QR code at the bottom right-hand corner. That's where we're posting, again, about all of our new features and functionalities so you can stay in the know. And it's also a place for folks that are using our platform to communicate with each other. So if you have a question or maybe you can help somebody, great way for us to all be together and support each other's missions and endeavors. So today's speaker is obviously me, Steve Bingham Hawk. I am out here in Colorado. It's actually a very snowy day today. So very much a wintry wonderland here in January. And I'm a product manager. Prior to coming to GiveSignup, RunSignup, I was organizing events for nonprofits, anything from street fairs to art festivals, concerts, endurance events, running marathons, cycling. So I hope that I can bring that perspective to this role and make sure that that voice is being heard. And we're always thinking about the end user, our organizers, and of course, the people that make events happen, which are our ticket purchasers and our event attendees. And then Elizabeth, who has stolen my heart from the minute I met her. And do you like that intro, Elizabeth?
We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, Steve.
It's a surprise how we're going to celebrate that, but I want you to prepare because it's going to be over the top. But Elizabeth is our senior account manager, and chances are, unless there's a cameo from me, usually on Wednesdays, you're talking to Elizabeth when you email info@givesignup.org, and she takes such great care of all of our customers and our events. And so, Liz, I know you can't top how I just introduced you, but if you'd like to say something about yourself, I want to give you that opportunity.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
Perfect. I mean, I already, you can't top perfection. So we'll move on. So what we'll cover today in our agenda, we want to lay out all the things that we want you to take away. We're going to just talk briefly about who we are as GiveSignup, RunSignup. If we're new to you, or you just want a refresher, maybe it's been a year since you've put your ticket event on with us, or you're moving from another platform. Talk about what is Website Builder and what are best practices, certainly for our builder, but just websites in general. So kind of hovering in that 30,000 foot level of just websites in general. And then how we recommend you organize your content on your websites, and then taking those ideas and concepts, and we're going to demo from start to finish how you can use the Website Builder. I'm going to show you from scratch, and then we're going to move to Elizabeth, who has a site that's a little more fleshed out and can show some of the more fun things and customization that you can do. And then, as we always do with our product webinars, is give you some homework. We're going to set up an action plan. So we want to make sure that you take this information and start doing things with it so that it's going to benefit your organization. This is the perfect time. We're not out of January yet. So if you have resolutions to do A through Z on your list before you get into February, you still have time. And one of those could be setting up your ticket event, and you don't have to worry about it. So GiveSignup, RunSignup. We are event and fundraising experts, and you can see a lot of us come from event backgrounds or have worked in this space for many, many years. We're founded in 2010. The goal is to make it free and easy for nonprofits to raise more money, grow their events, and engage their supporters. We create free and easy to use event and fundraising software that you can fully control, and I think that's a real differentiator for us. If folks have used other platforms, is sometimes that you do need that customization to happen from a member of the team on the platform you're using, but we really put it into your hands because we believe that that is going to create a better event platform for you, and that way you're not waiting, and you really have the ability to make it what you want and not have to go in through anybody else to do that. And we've helped our customers raise more than $1.4 billion. And by being here today, by setting up a ticket event, you are part of this amazing network of 10,000 plus nonprofits, 26,000 events who are all using GiveSignup today. All right, so what is Website Builder? So this is a tool that we have developed here, and it is a way to create a custom website. And you can do this by designing and building your own high quality website in minutes. So it's taking a lot of elements that you're already inputting when you're setting up your ticket or donation site, and then putting it all into a format that is very pleasing, very organized, very professional automatically, and then giving you tools with the Website Builder to really customize it and make it your own. It was designed to be easy to use, so we've got, we're enabling drag and drop functionality, making it intuitive, so it's easy for you as somebody who's not having to read a bunch of help articles, although we have tons that are very helpful if you ever get stuck. But most of the time you don't need that, because we really tried to design it in a way that it's easy for you to move through on your own. And then offering the ability through the builder to display diverse content. So we all know we've got different types of folks that are making up our customer base and our supporters. Some are reading the fine print and find those little nuggets that they've got questions about. Other people need an awesome picture, a few titles, and I'm on board. What date is it? Yeah, I think I'm here that day. I'm in town that weekend. I'm buying a ticket. So give your folks across all spectrums the ability to be motivated, to be inspired, to be interested in your event, and to buy a ticket. And then featuring your branding through our Website Builder. This is really key. I think what we found was a gap where other platforms are offering ways that you can customize your page and add additional content, but it all seemed to be framed within their own branding. So, and as we know, we have very specific sort of brand kits that we all need to stick to, whether that's your own or you're representing an organization as a client. And oftentimes the platform's branding can compete with your own and doesn't really capture the essence of your organization, your mission, your event. And so we take away that issue by making it all fit within your branding. In fact, we've got plenty of smart tools in the background that are even adjusting colors slightly just to make sure that everything looks well, that all the text can be read. It's pretty incredible and powerful. And then the other really big piece that is a differentiator is the integration. So you're not just presenting content that lives statically, but you're able to bring in elements from your ticket purchases, from your donations, and integrate it within your site. And that is reducing the number of jumps, and it's creating this centralized hub where people are getting their information, but they're also able to take action in the same place, and they're bookmarking one link to do all this. So what makes a website effective? I mean, this is important for the website builder, but just websites in general. So best practices, making sure you've got dynamic visuals and compelling calls for action. Maybe that sounds a little bit like a duh moment, but I would be remiss to say that some people really miss this. And I think it's so important on your landing pages that this is not a location to dump all the information about your organization and your event. Your goal in these critical pages, these first ones that people visit, is to get their attention, to keep them wanting more, and motivate them to take action, and then helping them move to that action that you want. And to do that, use simple and direct communication style. So we all want to use colorful language to make sure people understand how important this event is, but make sure that you are giving the basics. Where is this event? Who is it benefiting? Give them the things that they need up front without bogging them down with a lot of extra details. And then making it easy to navigate. Take yourself out of that space where you have been managing the website for the last 5 years. You know how it's organized, and you think everyone else knows that. It's not true. Everybody's coming there pretty cold, unless they're spending every single day. That's pretty rare. So think of it intuitively. What are these people looking for? What are our customers, our supporters? What are they trying to get out of coming here? And making sure that that is very easy to find and get to. And then avoiding, kind of covered this, but overwhelming visitors with details, especially on those critical landing pages, and then avoiding the jumps. And remember that people might have already jumped once or twice to get to your sites because it came from a social media ad, it came from an email. Don't force them to move around a bunch. And that's where our integration of the revenue activities that you need to support your event and make it successful, while they're folding into all your content on the website builder, that's the game changer. That's where you're creating that centralized hub. All right, so how to make your website stand out. Cover pages. So that is the term that we use to describe our homepage tool or our landing page for your site. We're going to go into this in the demo, but we make one that is a default page for you, and we call it our info page. But enabling your cover page allows you to create an even more dynamic presentation of content that looks incredibly professional and simplified and mobile responsive. Everything on our platform is mobile responsive, but it especially responds well in our cover page so that people are really getting a nice presentation of what you're trying to present to them when they're looking at it at their mobile devices, which is the majority of how people are viewing your sites. Offering web pages with rich and diverse content, so making sure that you're giving them all kinds of context and ways to understand what your mission is, your organization, your ticket event, giving customer testimonials. Don't be a one note, but offering lots of different ways for people to understand and sort of be enveloped by what you're trying to put forth with this event. And then organizing the content for easy and intuitive navigation, again, because you want to help people find information quickly and direct attendees to specific actions. All right, so organizing the content on your website. Yeah, I'm gonna hit it hard, Elizabeth, again for the third time. Attention,
I know.
content on your cover page to generate interest and motivate action. But then carefully select your page topics that are most relevant to your supporters, and this can change. So imagine when you start your ticket sales, and maybe you're offering a special VIP pre-sale. Maybe you need a page to talk through the details of that, when it's going to go live, but that's not going to be relevant later on as you get closer to the event. And people maybe aren't so worried about things like parking until much later. So that's when you may add those pages later. You don't have to give them the entire buffet of information right off the bat, because you're diluting your message and you're diluting your ability to do what you want. And in the beginning, it is to get engaged, get signed up, so that you could be communicating and really, you know, pulling them into your network. Take it a step further and include drop downs for pages that you want to group together. So rather than look at a sea of menu headers, think about the things that people sort of topic subject matter, you know, descriptions that encompass lots of different things, that is intuitive to think, yeah, if I look at event details, I'm probably going to see where to park in there. I'm probably going to see the event schedule in there. So think, you know, again, put yourself in the shoes of your event attendee. And then for those nitty gritty details, centralize them on an FAQ page. Those do not belong on your cover page. They do not belong in where you're trying to motivate action. So when you're talking specifically about maybe you're offering refunds and you have a very, very detailed method of doing that, or ways that they can request that, that could go on an FAQ page, right? And I think that's generally when people kind of know when something's a general piece of information and when it's more detailed, and so they'll go to that FAQ page to get that extra support. Demo time, Elizabeth. We're going in.
Oh my God, here we go.
All right, so we are starting with a very basic event and shell that I have set up for a ticket event. I've called it Fall Gala. You can see I am featuring my snowy town here, Conifer, Colorado, because it's beautiful and it's top of mind. So we're hosting a fall gala in October to benefit the Elk Creek Fire Rescue. As you know, a lot of people were impacted by wildfires out here in the Colorado area in Louisville. We were thankfully did not have an issue, but that's a very important issue for mountain communities. What I'm looking at here is my dashboard. Okay, so this is where I'm landing after I log in and click on my ticket events from my profile. Okay.
Steve,
and
I haven't sold any tickets yet. Probably
you
because
know,
the website isn't good.
yeah, and let's touch on that, Elizabeth. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my website currently. It's okay, right? You know, this is our default info
This
page.
is better than I expected.
Okay. Good. I'm glad I rose, you know, past your expectations for the time being. Let's see how this goes though. And so what it's doing here as our default is it's pulling information that I entered in the ticket wizard. So the name of the event, the date, where the event's going to be held, how to reach me as the organizer, what tickets am I offering, all of those things I put into the ticket wizard. I initially set it up, putting my event logo up here. And it's pulling a background image that's just kind of a stock image. We have several that you can choose from and they look very dynamic, but we can do more and we can do better. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And you can get to the website builder by either going to website and then website builder as the little sub menu item, or I can use my menu search bar, which I highly recommend. Don't spin your wheels for 10 minutes trying to find something. I think we organize things pretty intuitively, but sometimes you just, where do I set up a coupon? Well, just type the word coupon and we'll take you there. In this case, I want to build my website, so I'm going to type in website builder. Bam, there it is, my first option. And here I am ready to start making a website. What you're looking at right now are sections of content. And if you notice, going back to my front-facing public page, here are those topics: contact us, find my ticket, contact us, find my ticket. So these are elements that are all appearing right here. So if I want to edit anything on this page, I'm going to do that here. And you'll notice here with these icons, I can drag and drop sections. I can use my arrows to bring something up right to the top. I can edit everything except events. I can edit the title of the section by clicking on my cog symbol here. Oops, sorry, actually just by clicking into the text here, and I can say, find ticket. Maybe that sounds better to me, okay? But if I use the cog symbol here, I've got some additional visibility settings. So I can hide this section, but I can also change when the publish date is, when it's going to be live. And this applies to all the pages that we're going to add as well. So that's really helpful. You don't need to feel like you're on display as you are zhuzhing and modifying things to your liking.
Is that a word?
It is by a very a very popular show that got its rebirth on Netflix, where 5 fabulous men go in and help people with their lives. Zhuzhing means slight adjustments, Elizabeth. So here we are dealing with the info page. And again, this is what it defaults to if you're not going to use your cover page. But let's address that first. And I'm not going to go into the weeds with our cover page, which is that enhanced home page, if you will, because we do have a lot of support articles out there. And I think Danielle and I will work together, and Elizabeth, and we'll make sure we get a link in there with the recording of this so that you can learn more about cover pages directly. But I'll touch on it real quickly. It's not enabled right now, you can see, because it's grayed out. But if I click this edit symbol here, it's going to open a new tab where I can customize my cover page. And you can see, in the interest of time, I have added a couple things. So here in my header banner, I can add up to 5 images and make it a slideshow. I even have some advanced settings here about how my slideshow is going to appear. And I have added an image here, which you're going to see in just a second. And then I added some content, which is very basic, but just wanted to feature which events, what tickets I'm going to be selling for this particular event. And up here, enable cover page. It is off right now. As soon as I click on this, it's going to give me a nice message saying, hey, this is going to take effect immediately. And that's okay. You can always disable it, and it will not change anything on the original info page that you had. It will just flip back to that being your landing page. And anything that you select here, or sorry, anything that you customize here, content that you're adding, if I go ahead and disable the cover page, I don't lose any of that. So don't be worried that everything's going to disappear. You can build all of this, turn it on as you're viewing it to see how it looks, and then turn it off because you've had it for the night and you're going to get back to it tomorrow, right? So you shouldn't have started at midnight, Elizabeth. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the cover page. I'm going to go to my front-facing URL here. I'm going to refresh. Is that looking better, Elizabeth?
That's beautiful.
I'll get notes later, guys, on some styling. I don't think I have any exclamation points, so I'm going to avoid that part.
You do have an exclamation point on the button. That's your one exclamation point that you're allowed for the cover page.
My quota. Okay. All right. Glad we got that out of the way. So you can see now what I've done is this was the image that I added here in my cover page under the header banner. And if I go in here to edit it really quick, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but that's where I set my title. That's where I added a description. This is where I set my button. I can change the background image here, and in the overlay color gives you tips on what image size you need to use for this. So lots of helpful ways to navigate this. But this is in our book, sort of the initial step to building your website is to enable this cover page and customize it. And I would probably add some more information here to give some more teasers and ways to motivate and get people interested. But again, in the interest of time and for simplicity's sake, we're just showing kind of these basics right now. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. Now I'm going to go back to my website builder, which is still live in the other window. If I were to refresh this, you can see now that my cover page is enabled. So if I want to go and edit it within my website builder, I just click on the edit symbol right here. If I want to look at it real quick to see how I'm doing, what I designed originally, I'm just going to click on that button. And now we're going to go ahead and add a page, okay? And the way that we're going to do that is this lovely plus button here. When I click on it, it's going to give me two options. First one is to add a new page, and the second one to add a new dropdown. Now the difference between the two, a new page is going to be a standalone location or a page in your menu header, and maybe that's hosting some really important details that you want, not to nest within anything, not to group with anything else. It's just going to stand on its pretty little self right there on the top of your website. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my new page, and it's going to ask me for a page title. So I'm going to go ahead and copy some text and paste over here. So I'm going to do a little page about Conifer because that is the town we're in, and it's benefiting the fire rescue group here. I can hide my page while I'm working on it again. So here's those visibility settings. My very helpful helper up here is telling me I've created a new page, and if I want to start adding content, I'm going to click the plus button. So I can do that here, right on my page where I'm building, or over here in the sidebar. When I click on this, sorry?
It's the same button. It does the same thing.
It's the same button. Yeah, exactly. Yep, either one works the same way. So if I click on this one, and I can choose between a single or two column format for simplicity's sake, and we're going to do a two column. I'm going to start with a single. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and do a little background about our town. And I've got some text here that I'm going to paste in. When I click on, whoops, I got ahead of myself. Let me add the text block first. So the little plus symbol underneath my section, which I've titled Our Town, if I click on this, I have a list of options of content to add. You can add text, a button, an image, a YouTube video, YouTube playlist, Apple Music playlist, Spotify playlist, or a donation thermometer. One sidebar, the donation thermometer is available when you're using one column, but if you're doing 2-column formatting, it's not available because there just isn't enough space for it. All right, so we're going to start though with a text content block, and I'm gonna click in here, and you'll notice that immediately it brings up this toolbar where I can format the text. I'm going to go ahead and paste my text. I can go in here and bold things if I'd like. I can hyperlink things. So lots of different ways that I can format this. I'm gonna go ahead and just save what I've done there. You can see I get that little message up top that goes away, but it shows me, hey, you did that right. And now we're going to add an additional section. Now that we've created one, chances are you're gonna have multiple sections that you can arrange and reorder as you wish. So I'm gonna add a new section, and this time I'm gonna do 2 columns. You can see what that looks like. It's got my 2 options here, or my 2 places where I can add content on either side. I'm gonna add my title, which I'm gonna call Our History. And I'm gonna go ahead and add an image now. So if I click here, it's telling me which formats it will accept. And I'm gonna pull that in from my folder here. And I've got a wonderful picture of Conifer back in olden times to give sort of that historic feel. And I'm now on my right side, I'm gonna add a little bit of text that gives some background on the history of our town.
Did
So
you write this yourself, Steve?
That is private information, and I took this from the good people who wrote about my town many years ago.
Okay.
So you busted me, yes, but this is so beautifully written. I didn't want to change a thing. So I've added my text box here, and now I'm going to add a button because I want people to be able to go and go to this page and see that more additional wonderful information that they have written about our town. To do this, to customize the button, I'm going to click on the button, and it's going to bring up my setting options here. And one tip is if you're going to go to an external URL, which is this last one here, pick that first because that will then put some default text in here that you can then customize. If you customize this first and then choose a different type, it will default back to the custom URL. So little nuance there, but you can see that I can choose to link my button to something that's actually in my site, like the donate page if I've turned on donations for my ticket event. Or if I want it to go straight to where they can actually register or sign up and buy tickets. So I'm going to do a custom URL in this case, and I'm going to name my button, call it Learn More. And I'm going to add my URL here that I've pasted. Okay, go Conifer. You can choose the color of my button, and the text will automatically change depending on whether I've got a dark or a light color, and keep it on brand and of course readable. So I'm going to keep that darker green color because I like that. So this is this next section. I'm going to go ahead and save, just making sure that I don't lose any of my work. And next, I'm going to add another section. I'm going to go with a single column, and I'm going to call this, let's see, a tour of our town. I'm going to add a YouTube video. So I'm going to hit my plus symbol and hit the YouTube video option. And I have my link over here, and our system is smart in that even if I put the whole URL in here, it's just going to take the ending of that. When I click on the placeholder area here for it, this box will pop, and that's when I go ahead and paste, and it just automatically takes the ending of the URL. For some reason, the person that did the tour of this video decided to start with one of our local fast food restaurants as the image placeholder. So, I'm sorry?
Is that a Wendy's?
It is, actually. And if you live in Conifer, you know how important it is, as we have very few restaurants. So And it's, you know, hopefully you have a more dynamic placeholder image there about whatever video you're going to be hosting here. But at least I know I've got the right video, right? I remember that it starts with a good old tour of Wendy's. And now at this point, I'm going to add, you know, because who doesn't need some nice music to get you in the vibe of when you're kind of talking about your hometown and giving them that sort of feel. I'm going to go ahead and add a playlist. So I'm going to do that with Spotify. And again, the placeholder here, when I hover over, the playlist ID box comes in here. I'm going to go ahead and grab my URL. What do you think the first song is going to be, Elizabeth, on my playlist? And don't say Kylie Minogue, because that's a different playlist.
Is it by John Denver? Ah, I was right.
I did it too fast. Okay, so there's my Rocky Mountain Vibes playlist. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save this. So I've got all my pieces in place here for my new page I've created. Let's go see how I did. I'm gonna go over to my page. I'm gonna refresh. Whoa, here we are, About Conifer. That's the page that we added. Let's see how it looks. I mean, do you get any better than this, Elizabeth?
No.
Don't answer that. So here's that one column text content block that we placed here. Look at the bolding that I did there in a very odd style. My 2-column content block here that I've got an image with text and the button that I added. That's then going to take me and open a new tab to the Chamber of Commerce, which was that external URL I linked it to. If I want to watch the video of our lovely Wendy's here, I'm going to go ahead and.
Conifer is the perfect example of what makes community in Colorado.
It sounds like he's from a yesteryear, a time of before any of us. But I think this was made. Wendy's. Exactly, exactly. But Wendy's has been going strong for decades. And then my playlist. So if I'm wanting to read about my history here, I can listen to good old John Denver while I'm enjoying a little bit of history of Conifer. And if I click on this symbol right here, this icon, it's going to actually take me to Spotify, so I can have this open in the background as I'm doing work for the rest of the day.
Steve, can I follow you on Spotify?
Yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot. I'm not the most active on Spotify, but you're welcome to follow me, please. So go back to our website builder. You'll notice over here on the right-hand side that where it says About Conifer. So that's the title of my page. Right now I only have one page, so I can't really drag and drop anything. The other thing I wanted to point out is the info page. So that was the one that the website defaults to before you start customizing it with the and turning on and enabling your cover page. But that doesn't go away, that stays there. So when I go back to my website here, I click on my event logo, it takes me back to the home page. This is my cover page. You'll see that info button is still there, or the info header, excuse me. And when I click on this, all those same elements are there. And we keep this here because it has such critical information, like people being able to look up donations or find their ticket. And this is appearing because I've enabled donations for this ticket event. It gives a description of the event, where it's at, how do I contact the organizer. These are pieces that are really critical for your page to have success. So that's going to stay there. And then all the other pages you're going to be able to customize and move around. So I'm going to go ahead now. And now that I have one page in place, I'm going to go ahead and add a drop down. So again, that's where it's going to group several pages under a description. And my description, which we call drop down title, I'm going to call this Event Guide. So this is something that could be really helpful that maybe I don't have when I initially launch ticket registration or ticket sales, but add later as we're getting closer to the event, because people are going to be looking for this information. I'm going to go ahead and apply settings, and you can see what happens over here. The event guide, the title for the menu header is sitting right here, but a new page has been added. So by clicking on the new page, I can go ahead and retitle it. And I'm going to call this one Event Schedule, excuse me. Typing, okay, I'm going to apply my settings here. And then if I want to actually edit it, I'm going to click on it. And you can see that we always give you some helpful reminders of where you're at. So right now I'm on About Conifer page. Now I'm going to click on Event Schedule, and it's showing me my blank page where I can add content. So now within the dropdown, I can add additional pages that will be nested within this descriptor that I've added, which is called Event Guide. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new page. I'm going to call it parking details. I'm very concerned about parking, Elizabeth, as you can tell.
Yeah, you really are. Is it hard to park on the mountain?
Well, you know, there's places where you might have to go on a 3-mile hike if you don't park in the right spot, and we don't have a lot of sidewalks, and it's just mountainous trails, Elizabeth. So yes, very concerning for an event up here. I'm going to have a page dedicated to the performers that are going to be at our gala, little bios and some pictures of them, maybe their Spotify playlists. And then, you know, I'm always interested in raising the most money that I can for our organization and for our ticket event. So I'm going to add a page that talks about how to upgrade your experience from the general ticket to a VIP ticket. You can see that it is showing me that it is resting or nesting under the drop-down event guide. Now, if I had several event guides, I could choose, several drop-downs, I could choose which one I wanted to nest under. So I don't have to recreate the page. All I have to do is just point it to a different drop-down.
Nice.
Yeah, other navigation pieces is that, you know, you can delete a page very easily just by hitting the garbage can icon. I can change the name of the page and change the visibility here, again, which drop-down it's pointing to. I can drag a page. So let's say, again, parking, it's the only thing we care about. So it's going right on top of the list of this event guide. And then let's say if I were to add a whole nother page, and let's just call this where your donation goes. And I'm going to talk about projects that we're doing here in Conifer to beautify downtown. And then if I want this to appear before my event guide, I'm just going to drag and drop right there. And I can do this as much or as little as I want to and save. And now we'll show you what it looks like, the drop downs. So we've got our info page, we've got about Conifer, and then event guide. Click on this, it's going to show me all the different pages. They are blank. I haven't added any content yet, but you can see that a page has been generated. And if I click on the drop down again, it's going to bold the page that I'm currently on. So it's always giving me that navigation piece. And then under more, so it's going to take your first menu headers and put those first in order, and then anything after that will appear below in the more drop down. So lots of things to make it mobile responsive and look professional and beautiful. So I think at this point, Elizabeth, we are going to turn the party over to you, and I'm going to do this the right way. Bear with us here, guys. I'm going to change the presenter to Elizabeth, the organizer. All right. I think this is happening. Oh, we did it, Elizabeth.
I'm so proud of us.
All right. So you're going to show us something that's a little more fleshed out. The floor is yours.
So I'm going to show a finished website that actually has content on all of its pages, unlike Steve's. And just kind of give another example of a way that you could use this for a slightly different type of events. This is my block party event. I actually set this event in Fredericksburg, which is where I live. So apparently Steve and I both wanted to make this about our towns. As usual, we're making it about ourselves. So you can see I have my ticket set up. I have a couple different ticket types here. I've kind of highlighted a deal that I'm doing where if you buy more than 3 tickets, you pay half price. And I'm using our event highlight here to really make my cover page look interesting. And this is all things that you can do in the ticket settings when you set up your tickets. And then you can see I have a cover page here with some buttons that go. These are actually links to other places on my site. So if you go here, where to eat, I actually have a page with that. So this is living under my food and drink dropdown. But that button on the cover page is taking me off of the cover page further into my website. Like Steve was saying, it's important to not jump people around too much, but you want to use your cover page to kind of highlight key actions or places that you want them to go so that they can learn more about your event. Some of your recommendations in this case for the Fredericksburg restaurant scene. I also put a donation thermometer on this page. I don't have any donations yet because no one wants to support my event, I guess. But I just wanted to show what that would look like if you had that on. Obviously, if I had any donations, it would be filled up. I gave myself a pretty lofty goal, so if anyone wants to donate, go right ahead. And you can see up here, I'm on one of my pages, and it still has this nice little block header up here with the name of the event, the date, and the location showing. So that's going to show on any page that I go to on my website, which is really nice because that way people know where they are. It reminds them of the event itself. I have a lot of content on this website, so that will help as people sort of navigate around. Something else I'll point out that I think I'll mention a little bit later on one of our slides is I actually turned out a custom footer, which is something that we offer. So if you want to put information about your organization or your address, any other kind of information, that custom footer is going to show on any page. So I put that in there. So you'll notice this stays static as I kind of hop around the website. So back to the where to eat page. So I have 1, 2, 3 drop downs, and each of them has like at least 1 or 2 pages, and I've put a different variety of images and buttons on these. So I have a map of Fredericksburg here that is really not helpful if you're trying to navigate, but it's very artistic, so I wanted to include it. And a link here to a parking map that will actually take you to a PDF parking map of downtown. I live downtown, so this is what I deal with every day. Once again, making this about myself. Going over here to this page, I have side-by-side video, which will pop out like Steve showed. So this is an example of a video in the side-by-side component, so it's a little bit smaller than Steve's was. I think this one looks nice, and then I have some text next to it, which I also think stacks nicely. And if I looked at this on my phone, the text would actually show above the video, which will also look really nice. So these websites are totally mobile responsive. So I'm just going to hop into the back end of my site and show you what my website builder looks like. In here, when I first go to my website builder, I'm going to land on my tickets page. So this page is actually the info page that Steve was describing, that default landing page that we give you before you enable a cover page. And I just renamed mine to say tickets because I didn't like the word info. I could also change my page URL to tickets, and I think I'm going to do that. This is something else that's really nice about our websites is that you can set what you want that slug, that's what it's called, at the very end of URL to be for each page. So we'll give you one by default, but you can set it yourself if you'd like to. So this one is map of downtown, and it'll pull from the page title if you don't set anything specific. This one is the community foundation, so I should probably change that to other attractions. I think I originally had this as information about the nonprofit that this event is put on by. So that's a really nice feature. So you can control even up to the slug at the end of the URL on each of your pages in your site. And you can see how I have mine organized. If I wanted to rearrange and put food and drink first, I could do that, save, and then I could go back out to my website. So let's do that. And you can see now I have food and drink here. I still have my downtown Fredericksburg second, and then if I click on more, I'll have my Rappahannock River drop down. So this site is a little bit more built out than the one that Steve showed, but I think it's helpful to kind of see a couple different examples of types of events and what types of events you might need a full website for. So this is a good example of that. So I'm going to now go over to our slides again and share.
Elizabeth, should we have a vote of which website people preferred? I think that would go well for me, but I'd be willing to give that to you.
Sure.
If you
I would love to do that with you. I'm going to point out, we've already pointed out most of these sort of advanced features that we're going to talk about now by showing you this, but I'll just give you a quick list. Obviously that this is free. Our platform is free. It's totally free to set up a website for your event because we give you an event website. So you should take advantage of it. There's no limit on pages. There's no limit on the amount of content you can put on these websites. So you should use it to its full advantage. And it's also do it yourself. I think Steve touched on this at the very beginning, but this is all totally controlled by you, and you can do things like use that hide section or publish date features to kind of build your website over time, but you don't need to contact us to change anything or set anything up for you unless you need help. It's all up to you, and you have full control over it at all times. Along the same lines, you can use your own domain. So this is something that we've talked about a lot since we released this capability a couple of years ago, but you can bring a custom domain that you may own or a subdomain of a domain that you may own. So if you're a nonprofit and you're putting this on, you could put like tickets.mynonprofit.org on this website so that it really is fully branded to your nonprofit. The other thing is the custom footer option that I showed, where you can have that at the bottom of all your pages. That really helps with your branding as well. You could even put, obviously your logos are going to show there, but you can also put things like your nonprofit's information or address or your organization's name for additional branding. I mentioned already unlimited pages and dropdowns. We don't limit you. And we are also excited that we are going to be offering a standalone website builder in the next few months. So this will be its own wizard where you can then create a website that can be used for all kinds of different purposes. So it could be your organization's website, it could be a hub for multiple events or your donations. So there will be a ton of different ways to use it, and we're really excited to release that a little bit later this year. Steve, do you want to add anything to this list of advanced features?
I think you covered it, but I would also mention that another wonderful product that we have been making incredible advancements on is our email builder, which is a similar looking tool that you can drag and drop content blocks. And we just announced that earlier, I believe it was Friday, that we have now moved it over from our ticket platform and donation platform over to registration and our peer-to-peer fundraising events. And that too is going to become a standalone product. So, and all of this is free. We've said that, right? Free.
This is not, but in case we haven't, it's all free.
So for now, it is available if you're hosting your event with us, your ticket event. And somebody did ask, just starting to look at some of our questions, Elizabeth, somebody asked, is this for GiveSignup? We host a race and want to make a website. So we do have the capability with races and peer-to-peer fundraising events on RunSignup, if you were to start there, and it will allow you to do similar functionalities where you can build pages. They're called custom sections, and then they are can be nested or grouped together in what basically functions as a drop down, and you can move the order of those around. But this website builder that we've been working on and we're showing today is a brand new product that has not been moved over. So it's going to be in races very soon, but for right now, all this fancy work you see that we're doing on screen is with ticket and donation websites right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so it will be coming to races again within the next couple of months. So that would be really exciting when you have that capability on registration as well. So this is an action plan. Steve loves to assign homework, but this is an action plan for you all. So Steve, I don't know if you want to take this one, or do you want me to go through your action plan?
Yeah, just so you can add some colorful responses to some of the language I used here. So my tip is always jump in the sandbox. Obviously, sometimes these can be big decisions, right? Maybe you're using some other platform for your website, or maybe you're using another platform for your tickets, and you're curious. Like, don't be afraid to just go on there and literally create an event. There is no cost or commitment to go in, and you can make it nuts. You can make it about your hometown. You can make it about your dog, and send it around to your friends. Oh my gosh, look at this website I made using Website Builder with GiveSignup. And so just play with it so you can really understand how it functions, how it works, and I think you'll really enjoy and see the benefits. I encourage you all to sit down with your team and brainstorm about upcoming events that you could use this for. You don't have to make a full decision to move your entire organization's things over to us. So with other platforms, when you're signing up to pay a subscription fee monthly, or maybe there's an annual fee, you're paying setup fees, none of that exists on our platform. It's all free. So you can do one small event, and when you fall in love with it, bring the other ones in. Or if it doesn't work for you, then there's no loss. There's nothing that you haven't, there's nothing that you have lost in that process. So, and then, think about and just come up with your own event just to test something that you're kind of playing with. So it doesn't even have to be a real event, like I mentioned. It can be about your dog. And then go ahead and create a ticket event. You basically are doing that by playing with the website builder, because you need to create the event before you get to that. But flesh out all the pieces of the ticket. See how you use coupons. See how you can use our social sharing option, so that you get the full idea of not just how you're presenting your information with the website builder, but how it would actually function. Put in 100% off coupons and go in and test registrations. Send yourself confirmation emails by completing the registration process, so you can see exactly what your folks are going to experience. Using the website builder, and then using our support resources, and reach out to info@givesignup.org. So again, we are happy to do what we call a workshop, or any kind of review to give you feedback and to help. So
We would love to help.
absolutely.
All right, it's officially time for questions. Do we have any other questions in there, Steve?
Yes, I am looking right now. So another one was about if it's on RunSignup or just GiveSignup. I think we kind of addressed that. Is there an ideal resolution for the cover page image? So we do give specifics on the dimensions that it should be in. And I would say that you would want to use the highest resolution you can without overloading it. And my memory is failing me, Elizabeth, on the exact limit of size of file that we can upload. But what our system does is, when it accepts the file, it is going to then reconfigure or reformat it down to a size that is manageable, in order to be able to host and load correctly and quickly for your visitors.
Yeah, so go as high as you can, but there's not necessarily a recommended one, because we will kind of reformat that for you. The pixel size that we recommend for cover pages is 2000 by 800. And that will say that when you're setting it up. It says it right in the cover page.
And somebody made a comment here, they set up a website and the banner image looks a bit murky. How can I fix that? So again, I would play with, upping the size of the file. If you're using Canva, which is an amazing tool to create your visuals for your website, is to, you can actually increase the size of it, even though you generated it at a smaller size, or just start at a really large size and then bring it down. Because it's easier to go from big to small than try to blow up something that might look pixelated. So there's a little bit of playing that you'll do with that, but in general, I would say, to just use a larger size image, and that usually resolves it. And make sure you're using, not screenshots, that you're using, native files, if you will, from wherever it was created. And anything that you're doing in Canva is using native elements, unless you're bringing in something that you uploaded. So, if it's poor quality to begin with, nothing's going to fix that. So start with native, really solid files. Oh, and we have somebody in Colorado, Elizabeth, Fort Morgan, who's joined us, and also loves conifer. And how do you decide between a drop down or a new page? So I think, Elizabeth, do you want to take that one, or I will?
Yeah, so in the website builder, a drop-down cannot be a page. So that's a little different from how it works on the current race websites on the RunSignup side. But so when I'm doing it, if I have something that I think might work as a page, but I also want my menu header to be that, I'll actually create both. So I'll create a drop-down called that. So say event guide is my drop down, like Steve's example, but I also want a page with an event guide on it. Maybe I've created one that I can do with text, or I have like a link to a PDF or something. I will create a page for event guide as well. So generally, if you're kind of in between a dropdown and a page when you're building your website, you actually would want to create both, and then just create your dropdown and then the page within it with that information.
All right, so now let me check this last question here. How do I make multiple sign-up options? And examples were if you have a virtual run or a couch support option. So in this case, we were showing a ticket event, and what you would do is go in the tickets menu in your dashboard and add additional tickets, and you could call that, you know, Gala from the couch. I'm going to trademark that one. And then and you can also, it's in the initial wizard, but the wizard you don't go back to after you initially create it. So you would go to your ticket menu and add it there. I think we've covered the questions. If anybody thinks of something later, or you're watching this on repeat, as I know everybody will later, you're going to think of something, please make sure to reach out to us when we send the recording along with the resources. But we really enjoyed showing this. It's such a neat tool, and really excited about all the incredible development that's happening in our organization. Our developers are just pushing out so many new tools and features, and really it's to make sure that you all have the things that you need to be successful. And really looking forward to a great positive and successful 2022. So, you know, please join us in the future for any other webinars. And I know we've got a bunch that are coming up in the next couple of weeks to talk about even more new developments. And so you don't want to miss those, and you'll be in the know if you're subscribing to our newsletter with GiveSignup.blog. So, anything else you'd like to add, Elizabeth?
I don't have anything else to add. This is always fun with you, Steve.
You guys can't tell, we do have a blast, and a part of it is because we have just an amazing product. We have so many great events that are being hosted, so many wonderful organizations and customers that we work with, and it's truly a pleasure to bring this all to you and help you. So remember, schedule a workshop, email info@givesignup.org, and we'll see you on the next webinar. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.